Hello, today I'm going to talk about the foundations of project management. The presentation structure will start from key concepts to shift in thinking to IT project application, and then go to challenge and confusion. And then lastly, I will talk about future application. Three important concepts that I have learned are agile versus waterfall, the project management process groups, and project time management. The waterfall model follows a structured and sequential approach where each phase is generally completed before moving to the next. In contrast, Agile develops a project iteratively through shorter cycles, allowing the team to receive stakeholder feedback earlier and respond to changing requirements. The second concept is the project management process groups, which include initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling and closing. This helped me understand that project management is not simply about completing tasks, but following a structured process from the beginning of a project to its completion. The third concept is project time management. A work breakdown structure helps break the project into manageable pieces of work, while dependencies help identify the relationships between activities. Tools such as Gantt chart and the critical path method then help develop and monitor the project schedule. These three concepts are closely connected. The process groups provide the overall framework. Agile or waterfall determines how the project work is approached, and time management techniques help determine what needs to happen in what order and when. Second, shift in thinking. Before this course, I thought project management was mainly about managing people and resources, such as coordinating tasks between team members. What I did not fully understand was how structured project management actually is. A project manager is involved in many activities, including initiating the project, planning, developing schedule, choosing an appropriate project methodology, monitoring progress, and finally closing the project. What challenged my previous assumption was that realizing that successful project management involves much more than simply assigning tasks. It requires many related processes and decisions throughout the project. I now see that project management as a continuous process that helps keep a project aligned with its objectives, schedule, and stakeholder expectation. Moving to third, an application to real IT project. A real project where I could apply this knowledge is the development of a mobile application based on a large language model. For this project, I would choose Agile Scrum because the project would still be in a startup phase and would require continuous feedback from potential user. Agile would allow the team to work in short iterations, test features early, collect feedback, and improve the product throughout development. To manage the project timeline, I would use a high-level Gantt chart to plan major phases and milestones. I would also use task dependencies and the critical path method to identify activities that could affect the overall completion date. Within each Scrum sprint, I would manage the work through a sprint backlog and short, fixed development cycles. If I had to choose between Agile Waterfall for my future career, I would prefer Agile because I'm interested in building startups focused on mobile and web applications. In these environments, customer needs and market expectations may not be fully known at the beginning. So, responding to feedback and changing requirements is very important. As you can see, I would be able to create the time management for the IT project via defining requirements, UI design, build feature testing, and lead to deploy and review. Number fourth, challenges and confusion. One concept that I found difficult was the difference between free slack and total slack. I also found it challenging to calculate early start, early finish, late start, and late finish times. These concepts were confusing because their definitions are quite similar, but they have different meanings when analyzing a project schedule. I overcame this challenge by studying examples, drawing network diagrams step by step, and practicing how to identify the critical path. With repeated practice, I became more comfortable with the calculations and better understood the difference between free slack and total slack. Lastly, I will talk about future application and conclusion. In my studies, I can use project management concepts to manage work groups assignments more effectively. For example, I can break large assignments into smaller tasks, identify deadlines, allocate tasks, create a schedule, and monitor group progress. This can help coordinate the workload among group members and improve the quality of our work. In my future career, especially if I build technology startups, project management skills will also be extremely useful. I can apply them when estimating costs, assessing feasibility, developing schedule, managing resources, communicating with stakeholders, and managing risk. I also believe that agile project management will be particularly valuable for startups because customer requirements and market conditions can change quickly. An iterative approach would allow me to test ideas, collect feedbacks, and continuously improve the product. Overall, this course has changed the way I think about project management. I now understand that it is not only useful for project managers, but also for becoming more organized, making better decisions, managing uncertainty, and working effectively with other people. Thank you very much.